Well, hello, all you beautiful, wonderful people. I brought somebody more beautiful and more wonderful than you. Sorry about your feelings. I'm here today with Nick Lee. Nick Lee is strikingly kind. I met him at a camp for White Lotus in Milwaukee. He was just like, "Yeah, stay at my house.
Yep, come hang out with my dogs.
Hang out with my dogs. Let's be cool." And yeah, over delivered on the cool thing. It was so good. I went back and did it again. He teaches at two gyms right outside of Milwaukee called Fluid Jiu Jitsu. He owns one. And is it your father who owns the other one?
Yep, my father-in-law.
Father in law. And he's a black belt, right?
Yeah, he's a black belt.
And
He's a monster.
you're like this far away.
Somewhere along the
You're
journey.
good, man. You're donkey guard. Um, Now, we're going to talk today about the more like the science of goal setting, the importance of goal setting, but we're both coming from this, especially him. He's a professional goal setter and accountability setter and task setter. And how big should the goal be? And how many steps should you have? And man, another thing about Nick, this guy don't mind working, right? Like some people like to
No.
stack on things. Not Nick. He loves the details, right? He does it. It doesn't have to be the easiest way. It's got to be the best way. So we're going to talk about that. Nick, I'm going to shut up, which I know is hard to believe, and just let you talk about you, your story, how you got where you are, what you've taken from it. Go.
Sure. Yes, thanks again for having me on the show. Yeah, I just watched your episode with Rich. It was super fun to listen to, so excited to be on the show, also be part of the group. But as far as me, I started training jujitsu almost 8 years ago, 7.5 years ago-ish. And after about like a year, I fell in love with it. Then I decided, quit my job, start training full time. And the goal was eventually to open another gym, which I did a year and a half ago. So, we're talking about goal setting, right? The goal wasn't immediately to quit my job and open a gym, but that did end up happening. My wife and I run the gym together. Our partner is my father-in-law, who runs the first gym, Fluid Jiu-Jitsu in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Happy to have anybody come out if they are our way. Um, but yeah, so I started training jiu-jitsu. The other thing that I did, so I have like multiple jobs, the gig economy, but they're all kind of full-time in my opinion. I run the academy with my wife. The other job I do is I'm a lifestyle coach, so accountability coach, helping people set goals, develop systems and habits in their life to live the way they desire rather than just going along in life and seeing what happens. It's good to have a target. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up somewhere else, right? So that's what I do as my other job. And then my third job is I also run a nonprofit in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we bring free martial arts to underserved youth in Milwaukee. It's called City Champs Foundation, and the mission is opening the door to martial arts to youth in Milwaukee. Removing those barriers.
I've been told
That's
that
that's the heart.
kids do it now. Oh, okay.
I think that's how they do it now, something like that.
Man, with the camera, I don't have mine set to backwards because I want people to be able to read my shirt when I have it on.
Oh yeah, yeah, fair.
This,
But um, but
I,
yeah, removing. Sorry, we got distracted already. We're
I
doing
do.
good.
That's me.
But yeah, we remove the barriers, the financial barrier that most people encounter trying to start martial arts, and make it free for kids, and that's a wonderful program. So yeah, I'm always on the mats,
Where
always
can
having
people get to that?
meetings. How do people get to it?
Before we move on, how do people get to that, donate to that, be part of that, learn about that? Because that's important.
Citychamps.org. Citychamps.org houses everything. It's got our donation page. Actually, um, we've got a fundraiser dinner this Friday, which is I'm excited for. But yeah, City Champs, it's really awesome, and I'm super passionate about martial arts, how it's changed my life. I'm sure everybody who's trained martial arts that listens to this has a way that martial arts has impacted them in a good way. And imagine if you could bring that to people that have no idea about it and are looking for a good environment, that are trying to, get off the streets in Milwaukee and find something good to do. So,
It's too
yeah,
cold to be on the streets in Milwaukee, boy.
dude, it's pretty cold. Like right now it's only like 50 degrees. It's
Yeah,
not fair.
80 here. What's up?
That sounds real nice.
All
Yeah, so
right.
that's what I do full time. All a mixture of all those things and some miscellaneous things here and there. And traveling, training, loving life.
So you got three full-time jobs, and you find time to train and compete, and you
I
have
do.
to nourish your marriage. You guys have such a lovely, lovely, loving marriage, right? Like there's like you're
We
clearly
do.
working on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
That don't happen by accident, you know?
that's right. Yeah, one of my favorite things I tell people is you either grow together or you grow apart. And my wife Brittany and I, we have consciously devoted ourselves to growing together no matter what we're doing. And you can see it. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. My one that I was, probably 38 when I realized was that I read it on a meme. It was like love is a verb.
Yeah.
Oh, oh yeah, it's a thing I have to do. It's not like a feeling
Hmm.
that I have, right? That changed my whole life.
That's right.
I was like, whatever. Yeah, I love Rich. Well, then how come you didn't call him? Oh,
Uh-huh.
you
How
know,
do they know?
it's like the people who know all the jujitsu in their head, but can't do any of it, right?
Yes.
Theoretical knowledge, no experiential. Huh? So in theory, you're good at jujitsu.
Yes. But
Yeah,
the mats don't lie, brother.
no, they don't. They're painfully honest.
Yes. Uh-huh. So yeah,
Well,
that's how I spend my days.
how do you spend your nights?
The same way.
Nice, except more horizontal.
Training. Yeah.
Right. Well, you're training your sleeping, what's the word? Your efficient sleeping technique.
Yeah. I'm working
Um,
on recovery. That's my goal while I'm overnight.
yeah, me too. And when I eat, right? It's like, how can I rest? Right? Everybody's like, oh man, you sing too. I'm like, yeah, because that doesn't hurt.
No,
Like
it's
when I can't do
fun.
jujitsu anymore, I need something to do that doesn't hurt. But I need to still be acquiring a skill because that's my shit.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what a polymath is?
Yeah. Yeah. It's what that guy who went on Joe Rogan and said one times one is two is not.
Oh, one times one is two?
Terrence, that actor, yeah, that's what he said. And
Oh, I don't
then
know.
this other fake scientist, one of the Weinstein brothers. If you don't believe me that they're fake scientists, go look up their published papers. Go look up anything on them that's not coming from them.
Mm,
He was like, "Oh, you're a polymath, and people won't understand." I'm like, "They're doing a polymath. Like he knows how to act and be crazy. Like
yeah.
I guess kind of a polymath."
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
feel like you and I are in that club. We're just always wanting to learn all things. Like
yeah.
I can always feel your furious curiosity for exploring and learning new things, and it's an awesome thing to witness when you hang out with Josh.
My furious curiosity feels
That's right.
fuels my curious curiosity.
I love it.
No,
The
but I do. I want to learn everything, and if somebody else can do it, that just means I can probably do it. And look, I'm not good at anything.
right.
Right? I feel comfortable if we're talking about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. It took 22 years. I just made enough mistakes that I can help you with yours.
Yeah.
Music, I've been doing since I was 11. I feel pretty okay with it. So I teach guitar lessons. I don't teach singing lessons. I'm just learning that shit.
Yeah.
Uh, and then physical fitness and personal training and service sales. Like, yeah, that was my job for like 2 decades. So I feel okay
So
about it.
you have some experience for sure.
Yeah, other things I just talk shit. And like, I forget to tell people, like, hey, I'm probably wrong, right? Like, I just assume that that little disclaimer is in front of everything I say, and I'm trying to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's sometimes if you just speak with confidence, people are like, okay, great.
That's
But
They're a
your
con man.
substance is just terrible.
Hey man, con man, that's what it means, right? Confidence man, right?
Yeah,
Like I say some dumb shit
absolutely.
with a ton of confidence. People believe me.
Yep.
My problem is I sound like I'm confident when I'm excited.
Mm, hmm.
Right? Oh,
I can
yo,
see
bro,
that.
did you know that this is just like this? Oh my God, that blew my freaking mind. And I'm in my head, I'm like, I don't know that that's just like that. But it's just the excitement coming out.
Yep. Yep.
All right,
I
goals,
agree, man.
goals, 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 goals.
Yes.
My goal is to get on task because I am now medicated for ADHD and I should not be this disorganized. Um, So let's talk about setting goals first. What I know you use the system. What system do you use, brother?
System for goals?
Yeah, what's your system look like? How do we set these bad boys? What are we looking for?
Yeah. I mean, goals are that's such like an open-ended word, right?
So tighten it
And
for
for
me.
for me, it's more of figuring out the way you want to live your life. So goals are like milestones along the way, but that's not the end result for me. The end result for me as a lifestyle coach is helping people figure out their real desires and figuring out how they can consistently live in that way and be congruent. Goals are steps along the way. And goals can be broken down as, you can have 5 year, 10-year goals, or you can have like goals for today, like the next hour. My goal is going to be have a great discussion with Josh. And my goal for the next week is to have a wonderful fundraiser dinner on Friday. And my goal for the next year is move my academy into a bigger space, right? So goals, people throw that term around very loosely. And the idea, not the goal, the idea is to define where, when, and how, and then make sure you're living your life in a way that supports those actions. So, yeah, goal setting, I feel like it's one of those terms that gets people interested and they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to set goals. I want to do that." But ideally, it's like, how do you want to live? Are you living that way? What what milestones do you have set up in front of you that we can accomplish that help you live the way that you want to live? So that's kind of my take on goals to begin with.
Yeah, man. And I'm right there with you, right? But just like jujitsu, I do the same thing here, right? Like I break it. I say, okay, so we got this thing goal. So let's call that passing guard. I want
Right.
to pass Nick's guard. Man, do I? Because he's way when I'm on top of him. He gets on his guard. All of a sudden, my legs are in danger. I'm in donkey guard. He's laughing
Yeah,
in front of everybody, right?
I will teach a donkey guard seminar one day. It's gonna happen.
Please and teach me because I'm old and I suck at it.
It's great.
The the next level down for me, right? We have the goal, the macro goal, right? Which
Right.
guard or have a life, build a life I love that I just love to live. That's a big goal, man.
Right.
But then I realized, like, oh, the best way to do that, to build a whole life I love, is to make sure I have a year I love, right? We
Yeah.
call that like a meso goal, a middle goal, or I call that.
Right.
So and so like passing the guard analogy, that would be like, I need to pass his feet and I need to control his hips. There's two
Right.
meso goals, right? And then all those bad boys get broken into micro goals. Right?
Yes.
Like I need to put my hand on this hip. I need to have my weight controlling it. I need to focus that my position is good. My posture is not bad, right? I
Right.
need to stop being an asshole to people. I need to pay my bills on time. I need to brush my teeth and make my bed and tell my wife I love her. First, I need to find a girl dumb enough to date me and become my wife. Uh, now, and I want to pick your brain about this because we're saying the same thing, right? You just said the same thing.
Exactly.
You just have two different frameworks. I'm on this shit in jujitsu and I wonder if it applies to life, right? Like, if I want to be happy for the next 10 years, the
Hmm.
easiest for me to do it is just make sure I'm happy right now and then
That's
just
right.
keep doing that, right? If I want to pass your guard, I don't need to think about, I want to pass his guard. I just got to think like, I need to focus. I need to do every part of this technique right. And then magically I will be past his guard,
Exactly.
right? The micro goaling of it all, right? So I don't believe in time, right?
Hmm.
It's like I'm just trying to be in the present moment and disregard all the nonsense in my brain. And I realized that's
Yes.
like it's like extreme micro chunking.
Yep. Exactly right. Yeah, we are only ever alive in this moment. Past is the past, future's gonna come. And if you dwell in either of those things too much, your present is just gonna be frozen. And you're not gonna live in the present moment. So there's times to reflect on the past, gain wisdom from it. There's times to plan for the future. Okay, where am I headed? Where am I going? What does that look like? But every day, every moment, we're living right now, and we have the opportunity to decide what we want to do to get to where we want to go, rather than just being like, man, I wish I was this way. I think that's the biggest thing that people get caught up on is they're unhappy with who they are today. They feel like it takes a lot of work, which it does, and then they're like, nah, whatever, this is fine. And if that's who you want to be, sure, but most people want more.
You ever meet somebody who's like, I'm just an asshole?
Yeah.
Yeah, people say that, right? Like, hey man, be nice to that waitress, be nice to that waiter, or what do you say,
Hmm.
serving person. I'm trying to be more politically correct because I recognize I can be, and it doesn't hurt anybody. It just hurts less people, right?
That's
I'm not
right.
good at it yet. I'm not beating myself up over it, but I'm trying. But they say that, oh, I'm just an asshole, and I'm
Yep.
like,
Or I'm fat,
yeah, uh,
or I'm just a smoker, or whatever it is.
you have isolated a problem. Now what?
Yeah. 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 The main formula for making changes, first you have to be aware of it. If you're not aware, you're never gonna make a change. Second, you have to actually have a desire to change. Some
Mm,
people are just happy being assholes. And if they just are they're fine with that, they're not gonna make a change. It's like, okay, cool. I don't like assholes, so I'm not gonna associate with you as much.
yeah, I'm not
You
gonna
know?
invite you to lunch. Like, I'm not
Exactly.
judging you. I'm just not inviting
Yep.
you to lunch.
Exactly. Like that's
Mhm.
cool. You can be that way. That's not how I want to live, so cool. You be over there. And then the third part of that equation, awareness, desire, action. You got to take action to make change.
Thought, word, deed. Right?
Thought,
I
word,
think that's
deed.
the Buddhist way to say the exact same thing.
Okay.
I always say everybody's saying the same thing. They're just using different words.
Yep.
We argue about it.
Yeah. I agree. This
uh,
is the way.
well, and in the Bible, it's like the way, the truth, and the life, right? Right.
Okay.
It's kind of the same
I'm
thing.
not sure. I don't study the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, it's three. So like immediately I'm like, oh, you describe something in three. What are other things I know that people describe in three? Mind, body, soul,
Right.
right? Mind, body,
Yeah.
soul, right? So to me, the way, the truth, the life is the mind, which makes your way, the truth,
Mm-hmm.
which is the physical body that you are, and the life, which is who you really are underneath that meat, right? Who,
Mm-hmm. And
you
how
know,
you're living,
and how you're
what you're
living,
doing.
right? So thought, word, deed, right? What makes a thought? Your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
What makes a sound? Your body. And then the
Right.
deed is the outcome, the thing that now is.
That's right.
Um, yeah, so I mean, it's funny because I get into that. I'm big on that. Like whenever I hear three, and Advaita, it's Sat Chit Ananda, same thing. Right. So
I
I
don't
look,
even know what language that was.
it's Indian. What's it called? It's not Dothraki. That's from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But it's something that
Nice.
sounds like that, and I continually
Are
embarrass
you summoning dragons or?
someone in Brahmin, baby. But no, but I got all side railed. That's gonna happen, man. I need you to bring me back on.
I hear you.
But yeah, that's what you're saying, right? Thought, word, deed. How did you say it?
Awareness, desire, action.
Awareness.
Awareness, desire, action. Yep. You have to have awareness. You have to have a desire to change, and then you know what action to take. But if you don't start with awareness, you don't even realize you have something that you want to change. Like you're not going to change it. You might change it on accident, but probably not in a way that's directed in a way that's good for you and who you want to be now and in the future.
What
But yeah,
what
and if you don't have desire, it's not going to change either.
I don't want to pee on my floor right now, so I'm not going to. If,
Exactly. You have a desire to not do that to your floor.
yeah, if I had a desire to pee on my floor, the percentage chance goes up quite.
Yeah.
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 Um,
And then once you have a wife, then the desire goes away.
the stick, preferably the
Yeah.
carrot, right? Hey, honey, if you don't pee on the floor tonight, I won't. I'll do something nice.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, this might be why I don't have a wife. Okay, so we got that. You need the awareness. Now, what is the responsibility of a good friend, family member, husband, wife, training partner? What is our personal responsibility to each other as far as pointing out the things that maybe our people aren't aware of, and how do we do that?
Mm.
Because you're good at
Hmm. Yeah. One thing to think about in general is nobody ever likes being told shit, like ever. Okay, so if I was like, Josh, your hat looks like shit when you wear it crooked, you're not gonna be like, well, let me straighten it out then. You're gonna be like, screw you, I hate your spiky hair. Or you invite that same type of behavior if you tell people things about them. So you
Judge.
could ask questions like, hey Josh, why you wear your hat crooked?
Mm.
And maybe you didn't even know your hat was crooked. Oh, thanks, let me fix that.
You know
Put
why I
it
do
straight.
it?
Why?
I want people to know I'm a little gangster, first off.
Just a little gangster.
Second off, I'm 41.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, 41 years old. Look at me. Do I look 40?
looking good.
I don't look
No.
41. You know, man, 32. I think I can get it. And if
Yeah,
you hear
yeah,
me talk, you'll be like 14. Perfect.
exactly.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So asking people questions, thought-provoking questions, is the number one way to bring awareness to things. And asking in a genuine way, in a lot of communication, is nonverbal. It's tone of your voice, your body language, what you're looking at. If you're like crouched down, like, hey Josh, your head's crooked. That's gonna be different than like, bro, your head's crooked. Those are the same sentence with two different inflections, tone inflections that send different messages. So when you're asking people questions, be genuine and be curious and see what they do have to say. Maybe you learn something. Maybe you bring awareness to them.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, genuine questions are thought-provoking questions are the way to help bring awareness to things.
Well, you do this automatically, and I'm sure it's not, it's by design or because you're so good at it. Like oftentimes when we're really good at something, it means we recognize we needed to practice it, right? Um,
Yeah,
you're not a judgmental guy, right? And you wouldn't very naturally not be like, yo, Josh, your hat's crooked. Like, even if you had the thought, like,
exactly.
I think Josh wears his hat crooked because he's a slob, right? And then in your head, you would go, wait. I don't know why he wears his hat crooked.
Right.
I know who I could ask.
Josh. I could ask Josh about it.
Yo, some shit that I do that nobody's doing right now. And hey, I'm not trying to make it political. I'm on the record. Believe whatever you want. I'm genuinely curious, right? We can
Yes,
disagree. It's okay if
absolutely.
we disagree. But like instead of whenever somebody has a Trump hat, instead of me being like, oh, that guy's a dumbass fascist, blah, 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 like the head trash
Right.
a lot of other people are doing. I'm like, man, that dude's grandpa maybe fought in World War II. That guy might hate fascists, right? He just don't think Trump
Yeah.
is fascist, probably, right? Like, man, I'll start then I'll have that script going. And then eventually my brain goes, hey man, why don't you just go ask that dude? Why don't you go ask
Yeah.
that woman? And then I'm like, hey man, I like your hat. I have a question.
Hmm.
Like I'm starting to realize that there's a lot of different reasons people support Trump. I have my reasons and you have yours.
Right.
Yeah, right. Is it honest? No. Right.
Sure.
Is it treating somebody the way they need to be treated and not the way I want to treat them? Yes. Right. Because I want to have an honest discussion. Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
If I walk up to him like, I hate Donald Trump, how do you feel about him? Man, we're not having an honest discussion.
Yeah. You're not having a good discussion.
But man, then I find out like why they support him. Right.
Yeah.
Like for
You
real.
get information. Good
Yeah.
information.
And they tell me all the things that they don't like, which they would never tell some lefty hippie guy like me. Right.
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit, you're like a person.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I needed that reminder again and again and again.
Yes. Yes. People subscribe to labels so strongly and judgmental tendencies to labels based on just what we see visually that they start treating people different ways based on just what they see. And for me, I think that's flawed. I think everybody is equal along the playing field, no matter how much money you make, no matter what you do for a job, no matter if you train jujitsu or not. Everybody is equal, and the more you treat people as you'd like to be treated, and the more you treat them as equal and just have genuine conversations with people, the better relationships you're going to have in your life, whether it's a 2 second relationship with the guy on the bus or it's a lifelong relationship with a partner. Everybody should be treated that way because everybody has a story and we never know what they're coming from. So, exactly like you said, there's reasons why people are doing things. And it's up to us if we want to extract that from them with good questioning or if we just want to judge them and not associate with them based on what we project into their lives.
Yeah, man. I feel
Which is
if
unfair.
Socrates and Jesus both said the same thing, they didn't know each other and they both came up with it. That's probably good.
Yeah.
you know. Okay, so when we're pointing out the places we can see of growth in our friends, it's important first to arm ourselves with why they're doing it in the first place, right? Like I had a friend who was
Hmm.
really, 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 really racist against uh, Muslims. I
Okay.
guess that's not racist; it's religious or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
Falls in the category.
I was so busy trying to explain to him why what he thought was stupid,
Sure.
right? And he's so mad. And he's got his fist balled up, like he's ready to hit me in the mouth.
Yeah.
And luckily, another friend was there, and I left. And that night, I was like, "Yo, that dude was in the Navy. That dude
Hmm.
was at war with these people. That dude is a
Yeah.
beautiful, wonderful human being. And bro, he killed like a lot of people he didn't really want to kill. So
Sure.
he needs to either dehumanize them and justify it for himself right now until he heals,
Right.
or dude's gonna put a gun in his mouth. Now, do I want to be right or do I want my friend to live and heal? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's why he does that. Done.
Hmm. Yeah. And being right doesn't really help people in general ever.
You don't
I
learn
mean,
anything from being right.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got to keep us on task because I'm taking us off task. But I thought that story
No
was
worries.
it might be helpful for people. But
Yeah.
so we got how to point that stuff out. How should we receive it if we can
Hmm.
when somebody's doing that for us?
Yeah. If somebody's closed-minded and they don't want to hear things, they're not going to hear it. That awareness isn't going to spark something in their brain that says, that is a good point. Why do I do that? So it depends on where you are in life and kind of your maturity level. And, you can't make people do things.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can make anybody do things. Even if you're a coach and somebody's paying you a ton of money, you're still not going to make them do things. It's up to us. We're all independent. We all have a locus of control on our own actions and honoring thoughts. And it's up to us if we want to make changes or not. So it's kind of like the idea you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink,
So let's say
right?
I'm a horse,
You're the horse and you're
right?
dying of
Yeah.
dehydration,
And you're
and
bringing
I
me to
bring
the
you to the water. And
what
if you
can
don't
I do?
drink,
What can me, the horse, do? What am I doing that I don't know that I'm doing that's keeping me from taking the water? What adjustment can I make in my mentality to let other people helping me be less scary? Like, what have you seen? Because I know you're disarming that all the time. So, what are the
yeah,
changes you're trying to make in people? What are the thought changes you're trying to make people that let them drink the water?
yeah. Sometimes, like after a long line of like questioning and discussions, and it depends on your relationship, right? If it's a horse I don't know, I see them on the side of the water, they're not drinking. I'm like, well, they tried. I guess they got there, but they're not drinking. If it's my favorite horse and they're dying, and I'm like, this horse needs water. Yeah, you do what you can to put them in put a horse in a water drinking facility, like a mental health institution or getting them some help from other types of professionals to inject their body with water because they're not dying. Give them an IV or whatever, right?
I'm doing
So,
a horrible
but
job of asking this question because I'm not sure if I got it that time either. You tell me.
I
Repeat
mean,
it back to me. What am I trying to ask?
you're asking me how do we make other people realize that they got to change?
No. Okay, I'm doing a bad job on the question.
That's what I feel is
If
from your
I
question.
am a person, like let's say you come up to teach me, let's pretend like I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and we'll pretend
Yep.
like you're still a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Those things are
I think
both,
that's the truth.
we don't got to pretend those. Okay. But now let's pretend, because this will be pretend, that you
Yeah.
hit me with some sick donkey guard shit, right? That we don't have to pretend that shit happened.
Okay.
But let's pretend like I am like immediately resistant to the fact that you have something to teach me.
Sure.
And I realize that later, right?
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, I want to change that about myself. I want to be more receptive to
Yeah.
people point out these things I can improve on. What steps can I take? Not in the moment, because in the moment, I'm going to do what I do. But if I want to prepare for the next moment, what are some steps
Hmm.
I can take to fix myself on this?
If you are not open to change, you will never change. So you can't make, if you have to build that awareness and desire to change inside of yourself. So you said like, okay, I'm aware that I can learn from something from him.
Mhm.
Then you can do it.
Mhm.
But ultimately, like we can never make other people do anything.
Yeah.
And even if we bring it to them, we can force people to do certain things, but inside their brain, we'll never get somebody to change if they aren't open to change.
Okay. So, like, here's a gross example, right? I bite my toenails. Truth.
Sure.
Probably gonna keep doing it a while because I'm flexible,
Sure.
but I don't want to bite my toenails, right? And I'm aware that I bite my toenails, right? And
Yep.
I'm what's your words? Aware,
Desire.
desire. I have a desire to stop, right?
Okay.
Because it's fucking weird. I'm
Sure.
41. Why am I biting my toenails? Now, even though both of those things are true, right? Here I am. I'm biting my toenails. What's up?
Yes.
Right? And that's kind
So,
of the same thing. Like I know I want to be more receptive to people saying stuff to me,
hmm hmm
but like just because I want it, doesn't happen.
yeah. So that's where the action comes into play, right? You're aware, you have desire. Now, what actions can you take? First thing I would do is, especially if it's like a larger problem in your life, like take notes of when, why, and how you're biting your toenails. We're diving deeper into the awareness now.
I'm hoping
Okay, so
somebody's going to see this and be like, God, I just love dudes who bite their toenails.
yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible in this big wide universe. But you dive deeper into the awareness, and that's going to help you figure out patterns of why you're biting your toenails because it's an unconscious decision. And when you reflect on it, you're like, man, I didn't want to do that. But in the moment, like you find yourself, oh shit, I'm doing it. So when you find yourself doing it, that's where you can, digital or physical, have a little piece of paper like 12:50 p.m. I bit my toenails and I was feeling this way. And then you can start to build like a track record and you have to like write down that I'm biting my toenails. And or, text it to yourself, put together a little Excel spreadsheet of your toenail biting or whatever habit it is. You start to build more and more awareness and you start to understand why or how it's happening. And then you can take better actions to prevent those things, change your environment, not allow yourself to have open toes, maybe. You have to take your socks and shoes off in order to bite your toenails now. Provide barriers to make it difficult, right?
Man,
Um, but yeah, the more awareness you have on it, the easier it is to figure out how to prevent that action from happening. That's when you're trying to stop things. If you're trying to do new things, same same idea. You build
no
awareness
desire.
of, yeah, you have the desire, but you build awareness of when and how you are not allowing that activity to happen. and when you would like to. So now you have a frame of mind of like, okay, I found myself in this scenario that I wrote down about 15 times yesterday, and now I want to be this way instead of the way I was.
Yeah.
So
From
awareness has different levels.
from jujitsu, I kind of take away this idea, like if a baseball bat choke is good, it's kind of good everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Right? Like if I can get it, someplace I can
yeah.
get.
Strong grip.
Yeah, man. Like if this frame is good here, it's probably good everywhere, right? Like if I want to control your armpit, I probably want to do that all the time, right?
Yeah,
Um, so like you talking about how do we build awareness, I'm like, oh well, I don't need to change the technique at all, right? So if I'm feeling that my desires are being like my strength of my desire is not enough to give me the motivation or whatever, I just grab a pen. How is this affecting my life negatively? How would it affect my life
sure.
positively if I stop? Like really make it real for you. Is that what you
Hmm.
recommend, or is that me taking liberties?
Yeah, I mean, pros and con list helps you understand the why, but when you are physically tracking like your actions, your awareness ramps up at an extremely high level and allows you to give yourself the opportunity to make different choices
Mm,
in that time frame. Does that make sense?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Like one thing I did recently is I was doing a time audit. So every 15 minutes during my workday, I was writing down specifically what I was doing for at that moment. Gives me a very good idea and more awareness of how I'm actually spending my time. We all have an idea of like, oh, I'm doing emails at this time. I had a meeting at this time. I worked on the database at this time. I did task X, Y, and Z during this time. But you don't think about, oh, I was scrolling on Instagram. I was messaging, so and so about this, and I got distracted by that, and then I went and took the dogs on a walk, and then I had lunch, and all these things that you are doing, you
Mhm.
are also working, but when are you doing it specifically? So,
When are you
time
biting your
audit,
toenails? One second,
exactly.
one
When,
second. My mom's at the door. I got to tell her I need 15 minutes. Okay.
okay, no worries. Coffee sponsored by Fluid Jiu-Jitsu, Mount Pleasant. This might be backwards on the screen. That's okay.
Oh, plug, plug, plug. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out with my mom. She just got back into town, but I got 15.
Sweet.
So
Perfect.
so it's funny because like I always say there's only one thing to talk about, and we're all talking about it. And the whole time you were talking about that time audit, at first my brain was like, and I was listening to you, but I was also having this thought. I'm sorry, that's
Yeah,
ADHD mentioned.
that's how it works.
I'm like, man, that is such a cool idea. This dude's a freaking genius. I don't think I could ever get organized enough to do. Oh shit! Track all my calories whenever I'm about to start a diet. I know,
Uh-huh.
I know how many total I'm allowed to have in the day, and then everything that goes in my mouth. Hey,
Uh-huh.
I'm not a rocket scientist, but I know how many hours there are in a day.
Yeah,
So every 15 minutes, you're just breaking down your what I eat, what I eat, what did I eat,
exactly.
and you could do that like with a task, like how much did I spend on this? Was it?
That's right.
So it's really the exact same technology.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like anything crazy. Like I wrote down I'm in a meeting with Josh. I wrote down emails. I wrote down scroll down my phone, And when you have to write down what you're doing, it's way easier to not do that if you don't want to do it.
Oh, dude, we're gonna be rich.
Yeah, just like food journal. If you write down I'm eating Reese's Pieces like all day, the next day, I mean it's so much harder to eat shit food when you record it. And it's so hard to lie to yourself.
Brother, Apple Watch AI program, right? Good
Yeah,
security. Here's what it does. It listens to you. And AI can do this. It tells you what the hell you did and it does it all for you. You got to print out at the
yeah,
end of the day. Boom, you were doing this, you were doing this, you were doing this, you were doing this.
sure. But the act of writing it down
Mm,
is a
mm,
15-minute checkpoint. Oh, do I want to be doing this?
mm.
That's the real power of it, in
You
my
don't want
opinion.
to refloat it. Yeah, okay. See, this is why we
So
have time. You
we
have
could
a
do
good
both.
idea. and they tell you it's stupid.
No, no, I didn't say that. That was your projection.
Are there
Don't
apps
put
that
that in my mouth.
are there apps that already do that, like on your phone?
I don't know. I just grabbed a journal and wrote down every 15 minutes.
Because I wonder, like a good app developer can make this thing in like 14 minutes, where
Yeah,
like
probably.
you just go like
Simple
this,
app.
and it's text to speech, right? Boop
Yeah.
in the meeting, right? If you're in the meeting, you probably type it out. You
Yeah.
know,
And when I have longer meetings, I would write like, 12 to 1:30 in a meeting. Things like that.
I'm just like whenever, because I'm a person who helps people get better at stuff too. It's a little different than what you
Hmm.
do. And one of the things that I'm constantly looking for is like, no matter how stupid I think it is, what's the barrier? What's the potential thing that gets in the way? Like I had
Hmm.
clinical depression when I was young, like bad, and I had ADHD bad until I was 41. And little barriers that didn't make sense to other people, oh, dude, they were mountains,
Yeah.
mountains and mountains, mountains and mountains and mountains.
Yes, absolutely.
And I try to, instead of judging people when they're failing, I try to remember, like, I don't know what they got going on, right? Like, it doesn't matter
That's
why
right.
there's a barrier. It's a barrier. And is there something we can do to just kill it? So
Yeah.
maybe having a pencil is hard for somebody, having a journal is hard for somebody. Everybody's got the phone.
Yeah, everybody's got a phone. So I journal it digitally. But I have a tablet that I write down on. So that helps me.
Yeah.
But I think that's also the main power of having a coach is having somebody to report to.
Mhm.
So first off, it's hard to lie to yourself. Secondly, if you actually want change in your life, you're not going to lie to your coach if you have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
And your coach can help you pick out things with a different, broader perspective versus you in the moment. And they can give you little actionable pieces of insight, not advice, because as a coach, I'm not saying you should do this. I help you decide what's best for you. Because otherwise, you're living my life instead of living your own life.
I learned, people don't know this about me, but I was a very successful sales person, right?
I knew that. I heard
Yeah.
that once.
And people didn't know how I would do it, right? Because first off, I learned a bunch of dumb tricks that don't work, right?
Yeah, sounds like being a blue belt.
Yeah, it was slimy. It was slimy, right? And I hated the slime. So I left and I was like, I'm gonna do it better.
All right.
And I did. Boy, did I, right? And people would be like, okay, well, explain it to me in a nutshell. I said, look, I'm gonna teach you how to pretend like you care about somebody.
Oh,
And my
sure.
hope is that eventually you actually do,
Yeah,
right? So like in sales, like one of the things that I say all the time is like, if I say it, it might be true. But if you say
sure.
it's 100% true. If you say it,
Oh, yeah,
100% true, right? So
that's
I'm not
right.
trying
If
to
it
tell you,
comes from the back of your mind, you had the thought because of some question that you asked me. Oh, yeah, actually, I could do this. That's money.
yeah, and they're gonna come up with the best thing. You're not.
Exactly.
Like I'm like, hey, what if we do a phone like this and blah 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 blah, and you're like, it's not really the best thing, right?
Yep.
But if you'd have said it, well, it's true for you. You know what I'm saying? So like for me in persuasion, it's always that, right? Like you can't walk up to somebody and be like, hey man, your life would be a lot better if you just stopped pooping your pants.
Right.
Right? You question them, hey man, I noticed you be pooping your pants a lot. Like, is that on
Yep.
purpose? Like, can you
You're helping them build awareness and desire, and then they can take an action on it.
and they'll come up with the right action, right?
That's
Right.
right.
You might not know that they're deathly afraid of using public restrooms,
Yeah.
right? And my solution of just don't poop your pants isn't helping them.
No, it's hard. They're like, I know.
Yeah, man. You think I'm pooping in my pants on purpose?
Right.
But like if you come at somebody with that like
That
mistake their
energy.
limitation for an intention, well,
Mm,
of course they're defensive. And of course it doesn't. But yeah, I like
right.
side rail again, but yeah, that's my shit. Like if they say it, it's true. So like, can you lead them there and get them to say it? For sure, man.
Hmm.
Should it be manipulative? No.
No, yeah. Should be open, honest, and genuine.
Mhm.
You can read people's energy, what they if they're being open and honest, if they're lying. You can decipher that once you have established a relationship with someone. First time you meet someone, they can have masks upon masks upon masks that you have no idea about. But after a while, you start to really understand people.
I'm all about like airing all my dirty laundry out in public on my podcast. I don't expect my guests to do the same. But to me, it's like
I have no dirty laundry. Just kidding.
I've said this a bunch of times already on the podcast, but I think it bears repeating, right? Like I realized two things. This poem by Shel Silverstein, where these two people were blue and they were looking for other blue people, but they had masks in front of them, so they never met each other.
Ah,
That was a
yeah.
big one. And then this concept of if I'm always the good guy, what does that leave everybody else to be?
Okay.
Right? If I always have to be the good guy, well, now you always have to be the bad guy. Right?
Yeah. Or nobody else can has space to be good if you're
Yeah.
always that person.
And if I don't show you that it's okay to have problems, well, you never know it's okay to have problems. Right? Like if men don't
Right.
show each other that it's okay to have emotions, how are they supposed
Right.
to figure it out? Right? So when you're talking about the masks, and that's this whole like the masks describe what we're talking about perfectly. That's the mask.
Right.
I have CPTSD, right? So it's complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's basically like some fucked up shit happened to you, you didn't deal with it real well. You came to some wrong
Okay.
conclusions and then you lived your whole life with it. But one of the
Right.
things that is in the diagnosis is masking,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
right? Right. When people are like, oh, Josh, you have clinical depression. You're always so happy. I'm like, level 500 mask, baby. And I'm still proud of it.
Yeah.
I know better, but I'm still like, oh, I'm so good at that. Right. Like,
Right.
and there's a lot of people with different varying, like, not everybody needs the actual diagnosis, but people are doing that
Mm-hmm.
to all levels all day.
Yeah. You go to the water cooler at work, someone asks you how your day is. You say, it's good.
Yeah.
That's a mask.
Yeah, man. Me and
And
Keisha, oh,
people
sorry.
can read through that, and it depends on if they want to ask more or not, right? That's on them. And if you want to share more with them, that's on you.
So in the Tao Te Ching, there's this line that's like, is a polite yes different than an emphatic no? Right. So you see
Hmm.
this with abusers all the time. It's like, hey, are you okay to do this thing? And the person goes, yeah.
Right.
And that's all they needed to morally justify their behavior. Right. But that person just screamed no. And we all
Yes.
know it. But it was convenient for you to believe the lie.
Yeah.
Right. How you doing?
Absolutely.
I'm fine. Oh, you know they're lying. Now you just got to decide, is it convenient? Is it gonna hurt?
Right.
So I don't dig because it's like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to bring it up.
Depends on your relationship level,
Yeah. There you
for
go.
sure. Yeah. Depends on your relationship level. And another thing I love to say is our life really is like just a collection of relationships. We're social animals. And the quality of your life can really be measured by the quality of your relationships.
Yeah, man. Like it's a crazy. My therapist told me this, and I didn't know it, but that dude always tells me the truth, so I kind of like paid attention to it. And he was like, "Notice that when you're not focused on anything, like when you're not doing something, like listen to what your mind starts cycling through, and it's 100%
Hmm.
like." I said this to so and so, which probably made them feel like this, which is going to change my social structure to this, and it's going to affect this. And well, I wonder
Yeah.
what so and so thinks about me. I wonder what. That's where your brain goes automatic.
Relationships.
Yeah, relationships, because
It's
we know
crazy.
it's the most important thing we have.
Yeah. And it's relationships with other people, but most importantly, relationship you have with yourself. Are you honoring your thoughts and actions? Or are you have a thought and then you're like, nah, it's too hard. Fuck that.
All right. So obviously,
Hmm.
all this stuff applies directly to jujitsu. The people listen to this know,
Yes.
and they're doing
They'll
that
understand.
now. I want to real quick with the last time we have left. I feel like you know more about this than I do, and I feel like you can show everybody this whole process. I mean, minus the fact that you're probably going to need accountability, you're probably going to need help, and it's not going to be as easy. Like everybody's good at
Hmm.
jiu-jitsu until it's a 300-pound wrestler, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Life's the biggest wrestler you ever met.
That's
Um,
right.
um, but let's say hypothetically, not hypothetically, that I have realized recently about myself that if someone allows me to be abusive to them, subconsciously, I'm a bit of a wolf, right? Oh, you'll let me do that? Well, will
Mm.
you let me do this? Will you
I'm
let
gonna push the boundary.
I'm a dude,
I'm gonna see what I can get away with.
oh, that's me. Every single aspect of my life. I wonder if I could just not do anything that I don't like. Answer was
Sure.
yes. Um, but I realize I do that in my abusive behaviors, right? Somebody lets me be kind of a dick. Next thing you know, I'm like actively being a dick. And the crazy shit
Mm.
is 20 minutes later, when it gets bad enough that I go, dang, I'm being awful. I'm like, I'm like, holy crap. And I start apologizing. Immediately the damage is already done.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
now, so there's
Yeah.
my awareness. I got it.
Yeah. That's the awareness. Your
Right?
desires to act differently.
I want to treat people like the way they deserve, man. Right? They're my brother, my sister. They are me. This is my whole view. Supposed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I have this bad habit, this bad character thing. I've recognized it, right? So every time I do it, I need to. But here's the thing, right? There's the rub. Sometimes I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it until it's too late. Is that
Yeah. You don't realize you're doing it. Yeah. I would ask, are these with everybody or specific people?
well, so this is the issue, right? Because who are the people I want to protect the most is vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. People that aren't gonna put up walls that like check
Mm,
you.
yeah, man, they don't protect themselves, and that's why I want to be there for them. Now, how
Mm-hmm.
the hell
Mm-hmm.
am I going to do that if I'm the guy? Oh, you
Yeah.
showed me that weakness. Here we go.
Yeah. Honestly, I think a journal at the end of the day helps you bring more awareness to that. So spend 5 minutes and think about, was there a time where I acted in a way that I don't want to act?
Okay.
And your understanding is when you're pushing things a little too far,
Mhm.
okay? That journal is going to help you build awareness of why it's happening. And then in the moment, next time you come into interactions with that person that you feel like you're pushing too hard, now that you've jotted it down, you've built specific awareness on this event with this person, then you can give yourself a pause, which is like a big deep breath, right?
I'm good at that.
Instead of saying or doing, right? I know that when I have a call with Josh, I might say some hurtful things. So, okay, cleared the hurtfulness. Let's get into whatever I actually want to get into. Giving yourself that pause to reframe the conversation, your actions into what you want it to be, right? It sounds like this type of behavior isn't something that is satisfying you. It might be satisfying you a little bit, but
In the moment, I
but
think it's
in the
satisfying.
moment,
I
right?
don't know.
It's yeah, it's like eating healthy doesn't taste as good, but long-term health is it's the delayed gratification, right? Same thing here. In the moment, maybe you feel like you can push things and you're like, cool, I can get away with that. Later on, when you reflect, you're like, man, I don't feel good about how that went. So that's delayed punishment. So
Mhm.
similar thing, you give yourself that pause, that break between the cue for the habit and the action for the habit. Every habit has a formula. If you've read Automatic Atomic Habits by James Clear, the habit loop is cue, craving, action, and reward. The acronym might be wrong there, but the cue is the thing that prompts you to do the thing. The craving is what makes you want to do the thing.
Mhm.
Then you take the action. Either you're going to do the thing or you're going to change your action into what you want it to be. And then the reward is either instant gratification or you reward yourself by having, delayed gratification or knowing that it's the way that you want to be and honoring yourself and living a more congruent life that way.
That's so beautiful.
So,
8,000 years ago or something, Buddha talked about the spark and the flame.
okay.
And that's that same thing, right? But now we got
Yep.
a couple more, right? And those are
That's
insights.
right.
Those are good insights. And they're
Yes,
added to
absolutely.
us humaning properly.
Yeah, because yeah, every habit follows that loop. And you can actually interchange those things to change habits in the equation in general. you're going to find a different outcome when you change each part of that equation. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 5.
Yeah. We just keep
So,
till we get where we want to be. Okay.
exactly.
So it sounds like the start for this is like, and I already said it out loud, is I lack awareness in the moment of that
Right.
I'm doing it. So basically, it sounds like prescription is, hey man, you need to build more awareness about this in general,
That's right.
and that'll leak into the moment.
That's right. And you know, when you build awareness of like, I pushed this person further than I probably should have. Next time you see that person, you have more awareness of, I pushed this person last time.
Not gonna do it this time.
Let's not push that today.
Oh yeah, like you're going in there, you know, with a loaded gun, right? Yeah, and the trigger was them existing, which is perfect.
Yes.
That's a perfect because they're gonna keep doing that. I hope,
Yes,
unless
exactly.
I take it way too far.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Too far.
All
Get me
right,
off this show. No, just kidding.
now if okay, so I my another thing I want to do on this podcast is let people know that these jujitsu people that man, they know some other stuff too, right? They got a whole
Yep.
human inside there.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
um, I don't want it to sound pluggy, and I don't want it to sound like we're saying, "Hey, call Nick and hire him to do this,"
Oh, sure.
because I know you don't care who they go to. You just want people to find help.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just want people to live the life they desire in general.
how can somebody find some help? And a huge thing in finding help is like, man, you don't even know what you're looking for, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what are the qualities, the things that you should be looking in a person for that? Like, what type of fields are good for that? What are some red flags? What are some green flags?
Yeah. As far as like, looking for help, sometimes help is just your partner at home. You express like, "Hey, I'm trying to work on this." And if you say that to your partner, they may hold you more accountable to it, especially if you ask them for help. "Hey, I'm trying to eat less candy." Okay, I'm gonna point at you every time you're eating candy. So you are more aware that you're eating candy. And we know that we know what we're talking about when I'm pointing at you about the candy, right? Could
Yeah.
be something simple like that. Honestly, you can go online and find a million different people to talk to about anything, right? So I would be specific in what you're trying to improve. Are you trying to improve your health? Maybe physical trainer. Are you trying to, improve specifically mental health? Maybe you find a therapist. Are you working on, habits? Find a habit coach like me. Are you trying to find someone that helps you with jujitsu? Definitely don't go to a tennis coach. Definitely find a jujitsu academy.
Well,
So,
and in that analogy, that kind of, I hate to have to say it, but it's just true. Um, in jujitsu, I know if I walk in and you're wearing a coral belt and you're telling everybody in there that it's a really good idea to keep your body as tight as you possibly can, and the best way to pass a guard is to pinch a guy's nipples. Well, I know I just found somebody pretending to be a good coach. Right now, a
yeah,
habit coach, on the other hand, man, that dude could be completely full of shit, and I wouldn't know it till it was too late. So, what are some signs that I'm not in the McDojo of habit coaches?
of habit coaches. Yeah. Somebody that says, I can help you change this habit in 60 days. Someone that gives you a specific time frame for you're going to be fixed of this by this time. Like, okay, maybe they're setting some expectation, but most likely they're full of shit. If you don't know that person and you haven't already built an established relationship and you've been working something and now you're like near the finish line of changing your habits, like there's no time frame of habit change. And yeah, and habits they're all so connected. That's why I call it like systems because everything, just like the equation for habits, changes the outcome of everything in your life. So it's all interconnected and really for as a habit coach, I help people figure out what they're doing. And the biggest thing is like weekly we chat about it. I hold them accountable. I see what happened, see what the barriers were, see where they succeeded, encourage them when things go right, and help them look at the barriers and ask them what they'd like to do about it. And I'm never the guy that's like, you need to do this, and then your habit's going to be better, and your life's going to be better.
So if they're
If anybody
telling
tells
you
you
not
what you need to do, yeah, then that they're not a great coach. Some jujitsu people in jujitsu, I will, develop or show techniques in class, but it's never like you have to always get this underhook. It's like if you control this general area, you may find success over here.
Mhm.
And it's not like, yeah, this is the exact step sequence to follow. It's just not realistic for anyone, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
we've all been there. Like, just be 400 pounds. Well, I can't.
Yeah,
Right? Or
just stand
like,
up.
I got a student who has, one hand.
Yeah,
So we find workarounds for everything, right?
that's right.
But I'm never going to tell him, like, hey, man, cross collar choke from mount has to be your A game,
Exactly.
like, and it's got to be the gi.
Everybody's unique.
Yeah, everybody's different. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So just to summarize it for people, Nick, in true Nick form, right? Just pay attention. Are they giving you like telling you, hey, this is the amount of time it's going to take? Like, are they pretending they have information that they can't possibly have?
Right.
That's a
Yeah,
red.
and it's hard to decipher that because a lot of people in this spot looking for coaches are already vulnerable, right? It's hard to open yourself up to someone you don't know. So if they don't have good rapport, if they aren't genuinely interested in how you're doing, where you want to be in life, like I would say find somebody that is genuinely interested in seeing you succeed, right?
Because
That's
they're
going to be so much more powerful than anybody that's just like, well, just do this and you'll be good.
yeah, man. And hey, I know a guy, right? I know a guy
We know
who
some people.
I know a couple people, but I know one guy in particular who I could feel that he cared about me before he knew me. It was like, oh yeah, of course you're important because here you are. And if you weren't
Yeah,
important, you wouldn't be here. Right. And I
that's
felt
right.
that from you immediately. It was so cool.
Yeah, that's how I like to live. My mission in life is inspiring positive change throughout the world through personal enrichment and martial arts. And I feel like I hit the mark when you showed up. And I was just like, "What's up, Josh? It's time to train. Let's hang out. Here's my dogs."
Yeah, man. And brother, like, I know my favorite thing is when my students tell me, hey, I did this thing and it worked. Hey, man, you did the thing and it worked. Right. Like,
Yeah.
it fundamentally changed. I learned a new technique on how to approach life. Oh man, if I'm nice to everybody, I used to think, oh, they'll think I'm weak, they'll take advantage of me, blah 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 blah. After meeting you, I'm like, oh no, I'll just be better looking, nicer. Everybody will like me, and I'll be more successful, and I'll have a wife.
Maybe.
Oh no, maybe, yeah, who knows? But like, there was no negatives, right?
Yes.
You're not, yeah, man. It was just like, oh, like, brother, I instantly loved you. You know what I'm saying? And it was because of that. And I'm like, oh yeah, if that dude called me up and he needed to borrow some money or he needed me to help him with something or whatever, like yeah, it's yours, man. And all it took was that. Yeah, I was
Yeah, it's just I call it aggressive optimism.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm just aggressively optimistic for everybody that comes in my life, and I wish the best for them, and I don't judge, and I'm just here. And again, we're all equal. I just share the love with everyone. That's the goal.
And you're so contagious and you just cough on everybody.
That's right.
I love it.
Aggressively optimistic. Yeah,
Do it, do it, do it,
that's
do it.
why I try to send out a daily reminder every day. I'm at 1656, 1656 daily reminders, and it's in my Instagram story. You can find me on Instagram, xnickxleyx, or I do text it directly to like 20 people that wanted it because, social media or whatever. So, yeah, that's the goal. Aggressively spreading positivity and showing people that if you are nice and you show love and you just have a good time, that people are not going to just walk over you. They actually appreciate it, which is
Bro-
awesome.
Brother, I can't imagine a better note to end this on. And my mom's waiting for me. I love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
this was wonderful.
Oh,
I
dude,
love spending our time together also.
yeah, man. Get out there, spread some positivity. I'm gonna do the same today.
Hell yeah. Aggressively optimistic.
I'm on it. Even though I'm a cold prickly, I'm gonna be a warm fuzzy today.
You got it. You got this.
Love you, brother. See you soon.
Thanks so much, Josh. Bye bye.
'Cause